Hey, this is Matthew Harvey here with the 12 o'clock siren, recording live at the 903 Broadband Studios at the Cowboy Corner on the southeast side of the downtown Leonard Square. On my virtual left hand is James. I might go back to Twitter Hartley.
Man, I never left Twitter.
Oh, you didn't?
No, man. I don't post much on there, but it is for cultural observation, it is a must-have.
I dumped it, man.
Well, I don't blame you.
Yeah,
blame you for
I got rid of it.
I like the news that's been coming out lately.
Yep, interesting stuff, man. Good for the freedom of speech, supposedly. I'm an absolute. I almost went with James. Freedom of speech, absolutist, Hartley.
That's right. That's a good one.
That's the new term, isn't it?
It is.
What they're saying these days. Well, hey, man, welcome from where you at?
McAllen, Texas, right now.
There you are. Welcome from down there. We've got a big show today. I'd like to introduce Miss Sabrina Hull and Jeanie Rosenberger of Mission 3105.
Hey, folks, how are y'all?
Those are real people.
Those are real people. Hey.
Howdy.
Gallery adores you.
Welcome to Leonard, ladies. Jeanie, welcome back.
Always a pleasure.
Sabrina is the founder of Mission 3105, and we would like to get into that. If you don't know, we're recording on May 1st, which is the first day of what you are about to tell us about.
Yep.
So tell us what 3105 is and the backstory and everything.
So I was married for many, many years to a great guy, Officer Garrett Hull. He was killed in the line of duty. He was murdered on September 14th of 2018. And in an effort to sort of heal and to thank all the people out there that were so kind to me that I didn't know they were faceless, but they did so many acts of kindness. I wanted to give back and come up with a way to bring a little bit of good in this world when my days were so very dark. And Mission 3105 was born. Basically, Garrett's badge number was 3105. Meant a great deal to him, that badge number. And then the idea of doing 31 acts of kindness in his honor in the month of May, being the 5th month of the year, I could tie that together. And so really, Mission 3105 is all year round, but in May, it's really something where it's more intentional, you know?
Be aware of what you're doing.
Be aware and help bring awareness to others so that when they see other people doing these acts of kindness and sharing it on social media, and that's really all it is sharing acts of kindness so that other people pay attention and, you know, maybe they'll hold open the door, maybe they'll compliment, maybe they'll tip a little extra, whatever it is. Maybe when somebody asks for that donation, they won't say no right away because they'll remember, like, oh yeah, I remember my neighbor or so-and-so had posted about this, and what a great way to honor Garrett, but also what a great way to just do something good in this world. We have enough of the other stuff. So
So you encourage people to share it online?
I do. That's the whole point.
Gotcha.
What we
a lot of people are modest and maybe might not want to do that, so I'm sure you understand that. But
I totally get
please
that.
do it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we had talked about is like, it is awkward because, you know, you don't want to brag if you do something nice. You don't want everybody, you're doing it out of a place of kindness, not out of a place of ego. However, the only way to make other people aware and make it stick is by sharing that. So that's really what we ask that you, if you do an act of kindness, maybe take a picture or tell the story of why you did it, what inspired you, and then just use the hashtag Mission 3105. And that way we can find it, or we ask that you send it, you know, we have a page on social media.
Use the little A symbol and type in Mission 3105.
Yep.
I bet that'd work too.
Yeah, any of that. I have people message me through Messenger or you know, send messages, or even I have it where you could post on the page. So if you have something to share, so that's really it is awkward though to do something and then tell like about yourself. But if we certainly share enough of the bad on social media and the ugly, like we do, and so what a way to sort of bring light to a better thing.
Yeah. So. Absolutely. I said mention with the @ sign. It never works for me. Like when you go to your mentions, it never works right.
on the Facebook especially. I can't figure it out.
Mostly Facebook. Like it's so awful. I think their business pages just don't want you to see
I was just saying.
things.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of
It works
times,
on certain pages.
and a lot of times, like people that like a photo, you can invite them to like it. Sometimes that glitches so bad. Maybe it's just my phone, but it's almost like Facebook doesn't want you to do anything.
That's funny.
Sidebars. So that's my
Okay.
irritation with them. So take us back, and if you don't mind, tell us Garrett's story from maybe police
Okay.
academy to
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
actually, this
However you'd
past
like.
month, April, would have been 23 years since he graduated the police academy.
Okay.
Breaks my heart that he did not get to be there for that, but he was an amazing, well-respected officer. He was a great husband, father, and friend, and son. Jeannie, she can tell you, Jeannie was really close.
Jeannie's
She liked to
cheesing
drive
really
him
big right now. She's
crazy.
smiling.
Yeah, she the first time she ever met Garrett, she was scared to death
Terrified.
of him, like terrified, like that he was going to arrest her for no reason, just walking in the salon.
You might have
Like,
probable cause.
Yeah, I mean, let's
That's
be
that
honest.
guilty conscience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they ended up becoming thick as thieves together. But anyway, and she liked to drive him crazy. But yeah, so we were married for a long, long time and had a great life. We were actually really coming up into that sweet spot in our lives where he was getting closer to retirement. We had moved into our dream home, and we're really enjoying it. And he was on a specialized unit. He was an officer for
Fort Worth PD?
Yes, Fort
Okay.
Worth PD officer for 19 years, and the majority of his years, he was actually out of a uniform and in undercover stuff. So he did some pretty intense things in all those years, and so on September 13th, which just happened to be our daughter's birthday, which is hard, I kissed him goodbye, and our daughter was overseas going to college. Our oldest daughter was overseas going to college, so we had FaceTimed her during that evening to once again tell her happy birthday one more time, and then it was, I'll see you in the morning, and there was a
Night shift then?
well, because he was on a specialized unit, they had certain jobs that they would, like these guys were a crime spree, these three. It was a crime spree that went on for months. I think and I don't want to screw up details, and we've got the trial coming up for one of the bad guys, but they had been robbing and beating and doing some horrible things all along Fort Worth, just really terrorizing the citizens of Fort Worth for a few months. And Garrett's team was in charge of finding out who they were and tracking them down and putting them behind bars. And so when we spoke that night, and they were obviously targeting these places at night, so his team was working at night. They would work whenever they needed to, so they were working that night, trying to stop these guys. And so my last words were, I love you. And he's like, I think tonight's the night we put this to an end. I'm done with these guys. Like, we're gonna put this to an end. And next thing you know, I had a knock at my door. I had taken some sleeping pills because I knew I wanted to get up early and take this yoga class I was really into. So I'd taken a sleeping pill because I have insomnia. And of course, he wasn't home. So that always throws a wife off anyway. You don't sleep well when your husband's not home. And so I remember thinking, like, am I really hearing something at the door? And it was our neighbor who just happened to be a Fort Worth police officer too, and had been on a team with Garrett prior to this, and good friends. And he and his wife were at the door, and I'll never forget that, he was like, it's me. And like, I wouldn't open the door. And then I heard his wife say, Sabrina, it's us. Please open the door. And they came in and they were like, hey, something's happened. You need to come with us to the hospital. And I was like, is he okay? And they're like, we don't know very much. You just need to come with us. And I remember saying, well, give me a minute. I need to go pray. And in my head, it never hit me for 1 second that Garrett was like hurt. I thought car accident, like it's
More
nighttime.
routine.
Yeah, it never really, even on the ride there to the hospital, which we were about 45 minutes from the hospital where we lived, and he's in a patrol unit, so we had like lights going trying to get me to the hospital and stuff. It never crossed my mind that that's what I'd be walking into. And I got there, and there was what felt like hundreds of police officers all through the hospital. And that's when I started realizing, like, this isn't like he had a little car accident or he got shot in the hand and I'm gonna have to hear him complain about how weak his hand is now for months until he rehabs it. Like, I already was playing all these conversations in my head of, like, you know, how am I gonna get him, like, over being mad that something bad happened to him. And the doctor told me that he had been shot in the head and it didn't look good. But it never crossed my mind until that moment that Garrett was bulletproof in my eyes. So yeah, it was awful. He ended up passing on the next day, September 14th. And we stayed at the hospital for about 5 days. It's kind of, that part's a blur because he was an organ donor, and so they he gave everything: skin, tissue, eyes, everything he could. So it takes them, you know, quite a few days to find recipients that he would match or fit and things like that. And actually his heart ended up being too big, which just screams everything about who he was. So, yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Do you know where that goes? Like, I don't know if that's.
I have received some information on somebody who received one of his kidneys and part of his liver, because, you know, they can regenerate a liver if they start with a piece and stuff like that. So I did receive some information on that, and they you know, the recipients can keep that private, and I totally honor that too. But I know he's out there, all parts of him. I think the hardest part of that, like, I think organ donation is what we should all think about. Like, we don't need them where we're going. So, but the hardest part of that is that Garrett never got to come home from work that night, and then he worked for 5 more days straight, keeping his body alive for others, and he just kept giving to the very end. And that just, again, really inspires me with the mission too, because it could be so easy to quit. It really could.
Yeah.
And he didn't, so how can I? You know?
Good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
We were talking right before we pressed play here that you know, you'd received a lot of kindness and things directly following your husband's death. What did that look like? You said he stayed alive for 5 days after. What did the immediate aftermath look like?
Well,
I want to be sensitive. I know this.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
terrible to remember.
No, I did. I received a lot of kindness, and you know, I was never alone at that hospital. Jeannie can tell you, and I don't, not to bring up more pain, but those that don't know out in the world, that Jeannie has been my best friend for years and years. We are family. But while Jeannie was at the hospital with me, her mom was passing. So we went through this together, which is why a big part of also why Jeannie's here, because we've done this all together. We have grieved some big moments together. But you know, not only were people constantly there standing vigil, loving on my children, loving on my friends and our family, Garrett's parents, like just driving them. But then afterwards, it was just all the cards and flowers and donations and I don't know, tunnel to towers. They paid off our mortgage. I mean, because Garrett was the breadwinner in our home, and I mean, we were working towards retirement. Our one was off in college, the other was in high school, 2 years away from graduating. So that was our plan. Like, we were working towards that. So I had cut back on work and was working towards other things that we could do together when he was no longer in law enforcement. So, you know, them taking care of us and my family the way they did, there was just so many amazing things. And I was telling Jeannie today on the way up here, like, I remember the funeral, obviously, police funerals are pretty big, and there's a lot of ceremonial things and stuff. But I just remember all these people in the community, strangers lining the street, and this one gentleman just standing there by himself with this homemade poster saying, "We love you, we back the blue." And, like, you know, we need more of that in this world. So, yeah, it's when you get letters from people all over the country and phone calls, and granted, a lot of it didn't get to me because I was sort of in a fog. I still was in disbelief for a really long time that this Garrett was Superman to me. He was a huge man, muscles from head to toe. Like, you just did not see this happening. So it took me a little bit, but what did penetrate that fog was just so many kind words, letters, food, people offering to hang Christmas lights for me at Christmas, mow my lawn, all the things that they realized I had no idea, like, how do you even do this? Garrett always took it. I mean, Garrett took care of all of it. Yeah. I didn't even know any of it. I never even pumped my gas when we were married. Like, he would take my car, go get gas while I was still sleeping, park it back in the driveway with a note, like, you're good, have a good day, love you, so, like, my whole world was rocked, and the community just rallied around me. They really did.
That's good to hear.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Fort Worth PD is definitely, like, they're not just officers together. Like,
they're family.
It's family.
Yeah, it is. They are, and they took us all in. Like, they protected Jordan, my oldest, moved back from England, where she was going to school at Oxford. She moved back to the States after Garrett's death eventually. She's one brave.
You say
dude.
Oxford?
Yeah, she was in England at Oxford. Yeah, she's smart.
Been there.
Too.
My cousin went to Oxford as well.
Oh, well, then you have a smart cousin. Because, it's pretty cool. We got to go. Jeannie and I went.
Yeah.
Garrett had bought me a trip as an anniversary present before he died, so we ended up still going and taking it, and Jeannie and our other best friend, Mitzi, went with us. But anyway, when Jordan came back, it was the police officers that moved her into her new dorm. On their time off, they're loading up. I mean, the things they have done for us, they never forget.
Did I see them with her at a graduation college?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, she graduated from TCU in Fort Worth, and I don't know who was more proud, me or the city of Fort Worth, honestly. Like, the fact that she overcame all that, still graduated on time, now going to get her master's. I mean, that's pretty brave, righteous behavior. But we all called Garrett a warrior when he was alive, and then especially after he was dead. So I would like to say that she was trained by a warrior to be a warrior, and both my girls showed up. They did. They really did.
Yeah, because they were there, like, for Tristan. She graduated high school, same.
Yeah, we had a bunch of Jeeps and flags and everything, signs and everything. Because, of course, she graduated through COVID, so there wasn't normal where they could go to the graduation. So they lined the streets of our area and of her school and had, like, a parade for her.
Wow.
It's like, who does that? But they did. They did, and they don't have to. They could forget, but they don't. They remember, and
Pretty incredible.
Really incredible. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Since he was in police academy, can I assume he wasn't military?
No, he was not military. It was one of his biggest regrets, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's always said that he...
James might say that
Well,
different.
Yeah. Speaking from the valley.
Yeah.
What were the circumstances of that night?
And I don't know how much I can go into.
Before you say that, I don't want to say anything that might jeopardize a trial or anything. So
I really don't know I mean, obviously, what they did was well documented. So, I mean, it's a Google search.
Just the high points, if you don't mind.
They were targeting mainly Hispanic nightclubs, bars, and things like that in the city of Fort Worth. They were hitting it for cash and stuff. They'd go in, guns, and
hold up the place.
Yeah, hold up the place, beat them, steal, pistol whip them, whatever it took. And that particular night, they hit a bar that Garrett's team and the police were tracking them, and they hit it. And as they were coming out, they were doing whatever it is they do. And I like I said, I wasn't there, so I don't know. But I know that one of the guys opened fire as the police were trying to take him down, and got into a gunfight with Garrett, and resulted in both of their deaths. But yeah, I guess he had decided he wasn't going back to prison. But all three have been in and out of prison. So
does that mean he killed himself?
Nope, he was killed by Garrett and two other officers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's on trial out of the three?
I'm not going to say his name, and he is a male, but he identifies as a female, from what I understand. But it is my understanding, and this is my opinion, that this is one of the most heinous people I could ever have met, just based on things I've heard and read and stuff like that after Garrett's death. But he, like I said, he identifies as a female, and I think that's a big part of his defense, maybe, is those kind of things, his confusion, gender confusion or something. But the bottom line, he's been a criminal. He's got a criminal record that spans many, many, many years, violent crimes. So this was his typical MO, and he needs to never be out on the streets again.
What is his charge?
It is a murder charge. The state feels like had these guys not been doing what they were doing, Garrett would still be alive today, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. They all had guns. They all knew that eventually somebody was going to get killed. They knew that, and they were committing crimes that were, because none of the other victims died, doesn't mean they didn't come close to it. So, and more of that will come out, I'm sure, as we get to trial. But they were very, very violent offenders, all three of them, and Garrett would be alive if it wasn't for that. So they need to pay for Garrett's death just as much. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe you may have mentioned this after record. Was that the sting night, or like were they actively trying to arrest him that night?
Yeah, they had been trying to track them down, from what I understand. And again, I only know what Garrett told me.
Yeah.
As a wife, hey, there's these bad guys. They're doing really bad things, and we've got to stop them. They are terrorizing. And I don't want to say the number wrong, because it could be more, but I want to say there was like at least 17 different nights, or 17 different places,
occasions.
People, occasions.
Incidents, I guess.
Yes, where they had done this in a short period of time. And it was just difficult to figure out who it was in the beginning. Yeah, because, where they were targeting, there was a, not surveillance cameras and things like that. They knew they were targeting specific places for a specific reason. So, they're pretty hateful. And they did a lot of things to cover their tracks. So it took some really good police work to figure out who they were. And obviously, especially with the trial coming up, I mean, they've got on masks, and he's dressed like a woman but looks like a man physically, so it can be confusing, like, who are we looking for kind of thing. So, I'm sure it was a
raising
challenge.
doubt, I guess, was probably
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it was a real challenge for the department, but they have really good police officers out there who are really
probably pretty committed.
Yes, very committed. I mean, they were hurting a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and with such ruthlessness. So that's really, why I really, this month more than ever this year, the mission is so much more important to me, because I could really focus on that. Like, even just talking about it now, I'm like, gosh, like, who does that? Who wakes up and just wants to hurt somebody? But I mean, that really, they knew what they were doing, and they planned
I mean, what's
it.
the end game?
Yeah,
if you're
right?
if you're going that much of a crime spree and going that hardcore, like what?
We can't understand that. We just can't. We're not built that way. So in order for me not to just concentrate on that, this mission this month of the acts of kindness and hearing other people committing acts of kindness and spreading good is really where I want to focus my attention, because I don't want to be thinking about what's coming, and I don't want to be thinking about all their dark stuff. I want to think about all the good, and that was what Garrett did. And one thing that I really always loved and appreciated about Garrett is 19 years of being a police officer, and James, with you in the military and stuff, you see some nasty, nasty stuff. And it can be really hard to still have faith in humanity when you see what they see. We, as civilians, like Jeannie and I, we don't get it. We see it in the newspaper, and it's somebody else's life. So it doesn't, we're still shocked by a lot of it. But Garrett still believed in good. He still saw good in people. He still got mushy over puppies and babies. Like, he was still that guy, even with all that dark that he had seen in all of his years. And that makes me want to still believe in good and push that, really focus on that, especially this year.
Cool.
Yeah.
What are some examples or maybe stories of things that you've seen people done yourself, or
So many. Like, one of the coolest ones that started the first year was people would do $31.05 in gratuity to servers, and they'd write on the check, in honor of,
It's probably appreciated a lot.
Yeah, I mean, especially these last few years. I mean, people in the service industry have really taken a hit with everything being closed down and stuff. So that was a huge one. Recently today, I received a message that somebody made an anonymous donation to a community page where it's basically if you need or want something, there's a social media page that you can post on it, and maybe your neighbor could help you out, give it to you. And somebody made a big anonymous donation in Garrett's name. AJ and Jeannie and I went and delivered to the animal shelter together. We delivered some food and, just whatever.
Cool.
Sometimes it's just a silly thing as like giving somebody a compliment, or instead of getting ticked off at somebody, giving them a little bit more grace. I put shopping carts back when I see people leave them in the parking lot, and every time I do that, I'm like, oh, it would have taken you 10 steps to get it over to where it belonged. But instead,
you put it back and saved somebody a door
exactly,
ding, which saved them $500 deductible.
Well, it
Look at
just
that.
makes somebody's life easier. Makes
and they'll never know it.
They'll never know it. They don't have to. And instead of getting frustrated with them for not putting their carts, I'm like, I'm just gonna give them a little nod of, hey, I got you. You're my neighbor. I'll take care of this for you. So things like that. What else have we seen?
I was going to say, like, a lot of the times when we're at the gas station, like, AJ's like, Mom, there's an officer. Let's go in and pay for his stuff so he doesn't have to. Like, a fountain drink and a candy bar.
Getting the kids into it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, AJ, he likes that side of things. Like, talking to him and saying, hey, like, this is for Garrett. So, because Garrett was a big part of AJ's life.
Yeah.
He was.
One of my favorite trends as of the last 10 years has been the paying behind somebody, for somebody in a drive-through is always cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy somebody's coffee.
Drop off some cookies and pizza at the fire station, or
the
a
police
couple of
station.
cases of water. 'Cause, those things, those are helpful. Donate blood, give some blood, help somebody else, but be intentional. That's really the whole point, is being intentional, because I feel like police officers and first responders, and obviously our military, they get up every day with the intention of protecting us and doing some good, helping if they can. So we as civilians, we could do a little bit more of that too.
Their jobs by default are for everybody, or to serve everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
For sure.
we've seen so many. I mean, it's crazy. We've seen so many cool things.
Picking up somebody's trash can and putting it back in their driveway.
That's something I think is great, and I think it's easy for one person to do a bunch of trash cans, like in a neighborhood or something. Did I see that on your page?
You may have. I think somebody did do that last year, where they
it
just
doesn't
picked
take
up.
a lot of.
It doesn't.
If you're
It
going to go
doesn't mean
walk
money.
or work
Right.
out or something,
Yeah.
you might as well do that.
Yeah, and that's so cool, because I hate bringing the trash.
Tomorrow's
back.
Monday, by the way, guys.
Yeah, after Garrett died, that was one of like my least favorite. I'm like, now I got to take out the trash myself. Like, what the heck? Where is that big guy?
We live. My wife and I live, out in Leonard, so we're rural. But the best thing we ever did was get an actual dumpster, so I never have to move trash cans in or out.
I live in an HOA. The best thing I ever did is not take my trash back.
Yeah.
Just leave it out there, get fined every month.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I don't do that. Or live in an HOA.
I live in an HOA.
I live in
Can't do that.
Yeah.
They don't
No.
like that.
No, they do not. They
Well,
do not.
Adam is a big fan of not putting the trash out until the trash truck is turning down the street.
But you can feel those vibrations from bed.
Dude, you hear
Yeah.
it. You're like, you hear
When it's
that
trash
noise.
day and you slept a little late, then the trash can or the trash guys get there, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Why did the trash guys always come early and FedEx always comes late?
I don't know. Or the trash guys come really, really late on like the rainy day when your trash gets
Stinks.
nasty and everything. You're like, really? You couldn't come this morning and check that? No, I got to touch that thing. Yeah.
They always seem to be done by like 9 o'clock.
We love our trashmen, if any are
yeah.
listening, by the way. We're
I
not
know
ragging
a
on
couple
you.
trash guys that
Yeah.
are probably listening right now.
And
Shout out to you
ragging
guys.
on you.
Hey,
Hey.
business is always picking up.
And out of acts of kindness, I do give them water.
You do.
Nice.
When the
Yeah.
trash guys roll through, I will run out there and hand them bottles of water.
You just gave me my first one for tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, we have a huge one coming up this week that we want to recognize. Our best friend, Jeannie and I's best friend, Mitzi, is donating a kidney on
Ooh,
Wednesday.
Wow.
As an act. I mean, she's donating a kidney because she's a hero and just cool like that. But, like, what a freaking act of kindness.
Wow.
Like, and she likes to drink, so we're really, really shocked. We're really proud of her. We're like, your kidney's okay? Right?
Yeah.
This is really
She's
happening.
like, yeah, it's perfect. Everything's good.
Did she get a
We're good.
refund or anything just in
No.
case?
We're
Or
good to go. She swears
Right.
everything's
That's
good.
dedication.
So, yeah.
It is.
So
Wow.
she's super excited. It happened to, like, the way everything worked out and the appointment, they go
Yeah.
in this month. And
does she do that with the recipient lined up? Or?
Yeah, yes. She,
so it's a friend of hers.
yeah,
Okay.
somebody she's known since high school that has struggled for years with her, with one kidney and been on dialysis. And I mean, you can't, can you even imagine being under 40 and like being on dialysis every week and all the stuff that goes with it? And Jeannie is familiar with that. Her mom was on it. So
It's rough.
It's rough. I mean,
It's every
this
day,
is-
right?
Yeah, and this is a young
Yeah.
woman with her whole life, and hasn't been able to get a donor. And Mitzi, when she had read that, hey, I'm looking to see if there's any matches out there. Mitzi's like, at least I should try and just see, what are the odds? But she's like, I'm at least gonna give it a try, and she ends up being a match, and she still made this decision, knowing that she's a match. She's like, I could be saving her life. I could be extending her life at the very least. So she's doing that, and so like, what a cool time. I mean, for her to surgery to be, during May, and it obviously Garrett and Mitzi and Mitzi's husband, driver, they've been our friends for over 20 years. And actually the last vacation Garrett and I took together was with Mitzi and driver in August, so right before his death. One of our funnest memories too. But like for her to get to do this ultimate act of kindness this month it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a really big deal. We're nervous as crap about it
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
bet.
as her friends.
Yeah, I'm like,
But-
Mitz.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
but
know,
She's
but-
good. She's super
She's
excited.
the-
She's pumped.
Yeah, she has peace with it, and especially after like Garrett being an organ donor, like we talked about that a lot. Like that's a choice.
She's got another one.
Yeah, that's what she says. I got another one. Like, well, what if I need it?
Yeah, right.
Like now you only have one. No, I'm screwed. Thanks, friend. But anyway, yeah.
Be good to your kidney.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, I will.
Take
As
care
I'm
of your kid.
staring at that Tito's bottle.
One question I thought of today: did Russ Martin have anything to do?
He did. He did.
Because I know he's big into the
He
police, and
was.
I never heard
And
or anything, but I wanted to know if
he
he.
raised a crap ton of money and donated it to my family, to me and the
R.I.P.
girls.
Russ Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
James and I are big fans of his.
Yeah, yeah. So that was really, it was incredible. And just he talked about it on the radio, talked about the loss of Garrett and who Garrett was as a person and those things, which he didn't need to do that. He didn't know him from Adam, but
Yeah.
the fact that he took that time and then to raise just a crazy amount of money. That's why I mean, like, these strangers to me. I mean, we all know who he is, or who he, we all knew who he was, and we listened to him. And Garrett was a big fan, listened to him
Yeah.
all the time. But like for him to one day try and do something for us, like, so it's mind-boggling still to me to this day. So many people, like I said, the Tunnel to Towers, just so much.
For those that don't know, Russ Martin Listener Foundation donates to fallen police officers.
Yes.
Just police officers?
Just please,
Well, I don't know if he.
Well,
firefighters.
James,
as
you know?
well.
Yeah, it was firefighters as well.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this just there's people out there that wake up every day and just want to do something better in this world, and those are the people we have to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you made an appearance in New York on was it Fox and Friends?
Yeah.
Was
for
that Tunnels?
Yeah.
for Tunnels with Frank Stiller, and I've gone to several of
is he the organizer?
Yes, yeah, it was his brother.
Okay.
That died in the 9/11. Was a firefighter and was super heroic, and like that story I can't tell without getting choked up, but was a hero, and his family rallied around him and started this organization to give back to firefighters, and then they just grew it. Now, not only do they do first responders, but they also build homes for Gold Star families, and they're an incredible organization. And they got Hot Marky Mark as one of their spokesmen. So, I mean, like, they're winning, clearly. Sorry,
And
I had to say that.
your boy Conor McGregor.
Oh, he donated $1 million.
Yeah. I love listening to his
I
ad.
love
ad
him. I like to pretend one of my dogs has his voice. So, like, he curses all the time when I don't give him his food in time, and he, like, talks like Conor.
Is he Irish setter?
Yeah.
Is he?
No, he's a boxer.
Oh.
He's just a real jackass. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on
Yeah, you
here.
can.
But he's like the worst dog ever. Like the worst dog. And I love him the most out of any dog I've ever owned. So,
Tunnels to Tower.
yeah.
I don't know how he says
I
it.
don't know. I'll butcher
James,
it.
you got a good Irish accent.
I can't do it on the spot though.
You have to come up with it later.
Yeah, he donated $1 million with his whiskey. And I mean, he's a huge supporter of heroes, basically. So
Yeah.
gotta love him for that. I love who he is as just his cocky, brazen attitude.
he is.
And he puts up, he puts it all out there, and he shows up. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. But yeah, I got to be on the news. We got to go out for the races, and Garrett's
Races.
for the
Tunnel of Towers. We went.
yeah,
Okay,
we went to New York together.
Gotcha.
And,
That was where they run up the.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't realize that.
Where they did the. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was
Do the run.
super. It's
Okay.
So we
super
did
cool.
we did the path that he did with his gear on, going to.
And there's firefighters out there with all that gear on. What is
That
it, 60
do it.
pounds, 65
Yeah.
pounds or something like that? Then there's, all these veterans with, the recruits, but, they're there in their wheelchairs and their amputees, and they're out there. And, I mean, we were out of breath within, like, 15 seconds. But, like, these guys are just hitting it hard. And it's a really, really neat event, and just the fact that nobody's forgotten. That's what's so amazing about it. That was the one, like, my wish after Garrett died. Once I finally got my head out of the clouds, I was like, I just don't want him to be forgotten. I don't want them to be like, what was that cop's name that was killed, like, a couple of years back? He had a name. He meant something to me and so many other people. I don't want him forgotten. The fact that, like, that organization doesn't forget, they want their names remembered. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. But we had we went out there with some of our girlfriends came out with us, and both Garrett's sisters came, and we crossed the finish line together in Garrett's honor, and it was really neat. We've gotten to do a lot now. Now we have a race here in Fort Worth, Tunnels Towers, that does here in Fort Worth, and it's actually Garrett's old lieutenant is who heads that, and it's very personal for him, and they raise a ton of money and help people. So,
Right on.
yeah, it's really neat.
What's the actual setup like? I know you said it's a course, but is it in a building going up a building?
No,
or is
you're
it
going through the tunnel.
Yeah,
Actual,
you're
okay.
going through
Yeah.
the tunnel. You're taking the.
Sorry, I'm kind of ignorant, but
No,
No.
and it's really cool to watch. I have video and stuff I'll show you later, but and you end at the memorial. So
And it's crazy because, like, everything, like, when you're doing the run or going the path that he took or whatever, it's loud and everything's going on, and
it's surreal.
it's so emotional at the
think
same
about
time
him.
to think that, like, he did this.
He put on his gear. His car got stuck in that tunnel, and he got his gear out of the trunk, and he ran
took
all
off.
that way and saved all those lives before the tower collapsed. I mean, he did not have to do that, but he did.
And
and
didn't
like,
even think about it.
Yeah, what is it? 3.5 miles or a little over?
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah,
But then when you finish and you get to the memorial, it's like peace.
yeah,
Like, everything's still.
mm-hmm.
Everything's so quiet. Like,
Yeah.
At the reflecting tower, or the water
Yeah,
skid.
and all the
You just hear the water probably.
It's amazing. And then, while you're running, when you come out of the tunnel, they're all standing there, like all these officers and military and stuff with the signs of heroes that have fallen on 9/11, and they're holding these huge boards and they're cheering you on, but you're like realizing who you're running for, who can't run today. They can't be here because of what they did. So get your rear in gear and cross that finish line. Don't quit. And that's what they're basically telling you. And it's emotional, dude. It is. It's a cool thing. Yeah. And when we run in Fort Worth, we wear a badge on us. We wear a neck badge that has somebody on it that we're running for. So it's pretty. It's a
that
pretty
whole
neat
place
way.
is just eerie and awe-inspiring, and
yeah.
a
It
lot
really
a lot
is.
of different emotions in that.
Yeah,
As
as soon
Ground
as you
Zero.
hit it, yeah.
Yep.
What was his name? The Tunnel to Towers. Who they honor?
Frank Stiller or
Frank-
Steven Stiller.
Steven
Frank
Stiller?
is the oldest brother. Yeah, Steven. And
Frank is alive.
yes, Frank
okay,
is his
Steve-
brother.
Steven's the
Steven.
honoree.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
he's the
I think I was aware of the Tunnel to Towers, but didn't realize. And I was aware of the race, but not race, but I didn't realize they were the same thing.
yeah. And they do other events all over the country. They do like stair climbs and things like that to raise money, and they've got some great people that donate to them and everything. But they pay off huge mortgages.
Yeah.
All over, and
That's their thing, right?
that's what they do. They try to think of a way
To
just-
take some load off the
Those left
survivors.
That's
behind.
huge, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, like you said, just something like taking the garbage out, is something you never were used to doing, and it sounds stupid, but that's just one little thing
Yeah.
that now you're having to do extra that you weren't doing before.
Yeah.
And
You can find out more info about that at t2t.org.
there you go.
Yeah.
I got it brought up on my computer too.
Lee's ahead
See,
of
that's
you.
how kindred we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even over the airwaves, even over the audio, FaceTime audio, we got this.
I bet
Miles apart.
What's that?
bet you're not as casual as I am right now, though.
I don't know. Do you
I mean, I'm in
realize?
Vegas,
Do you realize
so-
you're Texas away from us?
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
isn't
Like the whole
Yeah, it is.
state.
I know. That is
I'm
crazy.
like 5 miles from Mexico right now.
Right. Sidebar there. So you went on Fox with
Frank.
With Frank,
Uh-huh.
and to
They-
talk about Tunnel to Tower.
He awarded me a check to pay off the mortgage and to talk about it and talk a little bit about Garrett and where I was. I actually was at Garrett's grave when I got a call from the same officer that he's dear friend, Anthony, who was the one that came to the door that night. And he was like, hey, I'm going to put you through. There's a phone call I want you to take. He's like, it's from New York. New York. I'm in Texas. Like, how did they even know, right?
New York City.
But
Yeah,
the,
exactly.
But the crazy thing is we were sitting there,
Yeah, we're at the
And-
grave.
and we're
Yeah, that's
at
wild.
Garrett's
Yeah.
grave, and Sabrina, like, trying to process everything, and Jeannie, how am I going to do this? And
I was scared to death, y'all. I was so scared.
then,
How do I go on without him? And then how do I do this? And then all of a sudden, here comes this New York accent, and it's
The last
Frank,
thing you want to
and,
hear.
I mean, and I'm like, why has Anthony put me on the phone? Of course, Anthony didn't know I'm sitting at the grave, like, boo-hooing my eyes out, but and just like miserable. But then and scared
How soon
crapless.
after was this?
It was pretty soon. It was really quick. I think it was October.
So within a month or so.
Yeah.
a lot of those first
Yeah, I
3
mean,
months.
obviously with Jeannie and I both having such significant loss.
They must have knew
those
bills were
few
probably due,
months.
so they probably
Yeah.
sounds
He
like they might
called
have.
and he was like, we're doing this. We're
Wow.
gonna, and I was, are you for real? Or like, is this really happening? And I'm still in my mind, I'm like, why am I talking to some guy with such a heavy accent? Like, but he's such a good guy. Like, oh my gosh, once you get to know them, that whole organization. But I'll never forget, like, just sitting at his grave and being like, you've got to help me get through this, Garrett. Like, I'm pissed that you're dead. because I don't know how to do this. And then to get this lifeline, really somebody saying, I'm going to at least take this off of you. You don't have to figure this one out on your own.
Because they had, how long have y'all lived in the house?
We had bought that house in August.
Wow.
The
wow.
the August before.
Okay.
So we'd just had 1 year in it.
Either way, wow.
And it was our dream home, and it was the house that I had begged Garrett for, and it was a big responsibility for Garrett to take on getting this house. It was a big jump up financially for us, and then an hour drive into work and for him. So, but it was also the happiest last few years of our marriage too. Every marriage goes through their crap, and you have like really good seasons and really sucky seasons, especially when you're married to a cop and you're raising kids and his life is chaotic like it is. So we were in one of those really good seasons those last few years. And that home was a big, big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He felt peace there.
Yeah.
Like, for the first time. Like, he
Yeah.
would come home from work and be like,
He could relax.
Sabrina's not asking me for anything
I
else.
know. Like when
This is kind of enjoyable.
this is my jam.
Yeah, we had a pool, and the neighborhood we were in, the river was across the street, so we could float the river and walk. It's just he finally started like relaxing and started thinking about like
He
the
could turn it-
future.
he could
The
turn it
kids
off.
weren't so the kids were settled, and he was proud of where they were at, and like we did this like. We didn't screw them up too bad. Like we actually pulled this one off. Like we were in shock ourselves. Our kid's going to Oxford in England. Like, I'm a makeup artist and he's
Pinch
a police
me, yeah.
officer. Like, how do we do that? Like, how is she so smart? And then we got another one that's getting ready to graduate. So it was just it was we were in a good place. And then when he was gone, I was like, how do I do this? And strangers. That's how I did it. Strangers and a really amazing family. I mean, Garrett's parents are probably saints. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a special place in heaven for how kind they are. Like, they get their own spot, VIPs or something, but they're amazing.
But
His family's amazing. And
all
so
of them.
they are.
Sisters, the same.
Yeah. So I got really, really lucky. Really lucky. I was surrounded by really good people. And that's another reason to want to do something good. And,
It's an amazing thing to be able to say, right?
It is. Yeah, it really is. It is. It breaks my heart when I hear other stories. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
I've seen it's like some recognitions. Maybe the state or you've been awarded
Yeah.
recognitions. I would assume. I didn't do a whole lot of research, but on behalf of Garrett,
Yeah, on behalf of
you
Garrett.
want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously on on his final night, September 13th of work, he was doing something pretty daggum heroic by stopping these and didn't hesitate for 1 minute when there's a guy with a gun shooting. So, which is so hard for me to understand how first responders and military do that. Like, freaking first sign of a gun, I'm running the opposite way and trying to get away from it, and they're running in. They're in the fight, so that's always really cool. So he was recognized for that. And then his team had several others prior to his death that they had stopped bank robberies. Garrett's old partner, who happens to be his best friend, was stabbed in a parking lot, breaking up a fight, and Garrett had to shoot the bad guy to get him to drop the knife. And so he was recognized for that heroics. I mean, his best friend Chad will tell you, he saved his life that night. That's what partners do.
Cool.
Made his family. So there was a whole bunch of different things that he was recognized.
Your letter from...
Oh, my letter from Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah?
president. Yeah, President Trump. Amazing, very personal letter. Not a standard. Here's what I send.
Handwritten?
Handwritten. His signature.
Like fully handwritten?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No. The letter part of it is typed.
Typed and signed.
But he not only did he mention both of our daughters' names, he talked about just what Garrett meant to the city and to this country. He took time. He didn't have to. It was pretty. I have a lot of respect for that because, again, we lose way too many officers all over this country every year, and it weighed on him. And he shared that. He shared that how much it hurt him. And that was pretty, he didn't have to do that. He could have just gone on being a president,
Sure.
like taking care of all sorts of other stuff, but he took the time. And yeah, It's kind of a fog in some ways these last 4 years. I mean, all the stuff, and I'm glad you remind me, because I mean, I have that letter obviously up in my home next to a picture of Garrett and everything. I have a flag, not only the flag that was on Garrett's grave, but also flags from other people that had carried them in the military in different battles, and then they gave them to me. Like one was draped over Garrett as we were taking him for the last time, so that my last goodbye for his organs to be harvested. They had this flag on him that had seen all these battles, like intense battles, and I just it's kind of hard to even.
Yeah.
And just the way they honored him.
Yeah.
They honored him too as their role in, like
taking him to
the room to
the OR
for him to save so many other people. Like
they're all standing there, and like we all know, like this is the final walk. Like, frick, this is it. I'll never hold his hand again. And they were there to catch me when those doors closed. So that's pretty significant.
No doubt.
It is. It's pretty significant. It is. It's like I remember it, but at the same time, like there was so much of it that it's hard. Like I don't want to mess up a detail or not say it right, but there was just so much. So
I don't know if we talked about his the guys he was working with that night. I assume he was working with somebody.
I feel like, and I guess I'll learn more as we go through the trial, but it seemed like the whole city of Fort Worth was at the scene that night.
Was there more of them there that were involved, right?
Yeah.
If you want to talk about them.
I mean, Garrett's team is a small, very tight-knit team that he was on, and they were very talented officers, like loads of years of experience between them, all of them, and they've all done some pretty fantastic things, like things we've read about in the news and things like that, where you're like, man, these people are straight up heroes. And then I know like the special response team, the SRT team, which two of the officers that they helped end the gunfight, and they were there to put Garrett in a car and rush him to the hospital. They didn't wait for ambulances. They put him in the back seat and tried to. I mean, when I say Garrett was a big man, like he was a big dude, heavy. Took a lot of men to get him in a car, and you can imagine the scene. And there's, like saving him or trying to the attempt to save him while there's a gunfight still going and all that. I don't know what that's like. That's something I watch in movies, but it was real life that night, and all of them, every single person on that on all those teams, and all just the patrol officers that were there, and all the people, they were making sure, because this particular bar is actually in a neighborhood, so it's a street lined with people.
Can we ask what bar it was?
Do you
even know?
Yeah, no, it'll come out here soon.
Yeah.
But it's basically like it backs up to a residential street. So this shootout was on a residential street. People are home in their beds, and there's this chaos, and they're protecting all these people who have no idea what's going on, and that's a lot. And you've got an officer down. You have one of your own down. Like how they did all that, I'll never know. And like I said, I'm sure I'll learn. I haven't heard all those things because nobody wants me to have to relive that stuff.
I guess you don't know the actual story, really, do you? And you probably won't until that comes out.
You don't. I know I kissed him goodbye that morning. I talked to him that night at work. I knew what he was going to eat for dinner. I knew our conversation with our daughter, her happy birthday, and then it was, I'll wake you up in the morning. I'll wake you when I get home, kind of thing. And that was the end. So I'm sure I will learn a lot here in the next month.
You'll be attending?
Oh, yes, I will be at that trial for sure. Heck, after Garrett's death, everybody's like, how did you go everywhere? Because I did all of it. I felt like we needed it for the city. I felt like the police needed to see our family.
Visibility.
I felt like I felt like the city needed to know, like, we back you like you backed us. Like we'll be at all the events. We are, we're going to spread the love and not the hate. And so I did all that, and everybody would always be like, how do you do it? And I'm like, dude, do you know what they did? Like, I can do
Yeah.
hard things. If they can do what they do, I can make it through this 30-minute event or whatever it was. So we did a lot.
I thought you were going to say podcast.
Oh, I can make it through this podcast, I hope, maybe. I don't know. I'm a little nervous now.
I might be able to make it through this podcast.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm a little fret. But yeah, so it was,
She just had to be a warrior.
Yeah.
I did. And that's what we say Garrett was. So, you know, and he was. Dude, he was. I never felt so safe in this. Yeah, that was the hardest. It's like your safety's gone. But
Wow.
yeah.
We're at 55
intense.
minutes here.
Dang.
Have we skipped anything or missed anything or anything you want to bring up, speak to?
No, I don't think. I mean, I feel like we've covered it. I really appreciate you even like letting us come on here and talk
No,
about the
thank you.
mission. And it's just Mission 3105. I hope people will just really try and be intentional and wake up every day and be like, what could I do to be kind? Whether it's to a stranger, somebody you know. I mean, call your mother. She probably wants to hear from you. Call your grandfather. Whatever it is, you know, those little things that were
Your
like,
brothers,
"Ugh."
your sisters.
Yeah, those things that you're like, I don't feel like doing it, but you do it because it could be the thing that changes the course for somebody else. Like if you could just do
Putting
that.
positivity out into the universe.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, you think, oh man, like, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do the next day? But it'll come. And then,
The
and
opportunity
then-
presents itself.
And then when you do it, you're like, that feels so good.
And that was the healing part.
Yeah.
That was the healing part. What's
Giving feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
and
was
you,
it?
and
Set
you
off
don't
cer-
have to, like, necessarily give. Like I said, picking up someone's trash can is,
Yeah.
like,
That's one of the things I get a lot.
it doesn't, all it does is take you 5 seconds.
Yeah. It's an effort.
Well, living life intentionally too, and being intentional about doing good is kind of some good karma to put out in the universe or something.
Dude, 100%. That's one of the things that I really, there's times when obviously it's dark and I didn't want to go on because I was like, I didn't know how
Sure.
to. But something finally hit where I realized like I have to do all the things that Garrett doesn't get to do. I have to live a big, good, beautiful life. I've got to enjoy this because he can't anymore. I mean, and I'm a believer, so I think he's in heaven freaking celebrating and having the best stuff. But every day I'm like, I need to choose life. And I've been really lucky. I've since remarried, and I have somebody who like loves freaking life. And so he helps with that, a big part of that living, and reminding me like, don't focus on the bad. Remember, you know, we're gonna do what Garrett can't do, which is live a big life. So, yeah, being
Absolutely.
intentional.
Well, we do a little portion of this show called 5 Questions,
Oh God.
in which we pull 5 quote-unquote random questions that
I
I'm
wasn't
filtering
there.
here out of a jar.
I have an alibi.
The first question I have, and this is relevant to me,
Uh-oh.
when is the last time you found money or a coin on the ground?
Oh, Matthew, that's all you. Like,
I know.
you probably did it today, like 2 seconds before we
I
got
have
here.
a good story. Y'all answer first.
Oh gosh,
I haven't found any lately. I don't think.
I don't know. It comes to mind. Josie just found some. I have a 8-year-old stepdaughter now. She's
Okay.
like she's the light of my world now. Who knew? I have 2 grown, and now I get to start all over again. And she just found one. She was so excited about it. Of course, she couldn't remember if it was a nickel or a quarter. Those 2 screw her up every time. Every time.
That 5.
You know.
That
Nickel,
5.
nickel and quarter?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
look the same to a
One's
second
worth,
grader.
One's not worth much, and one's worth
Yeah.
way more. So.
It's the 5 that gets her.
Yeah, it is.
They're both 5s.
Yeah. Question number 2. Sorry, James. What's your favorite phone app?
Is James answering that one, or?
I'm just saying sorry because he's not part of this.
Oh, he
really
doesn't
reading.
get to do it?
He usually pulls these out.
Oh.
James,
okay.
have you found any change on the ground?
Pesos.
I have. No, I haven't found any pesos. Oddly enough, I did find a Canadian penny the other day.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't tell my story.
Yeah.
Man, James, did you see my picture I posted?
I did.
Oh my God, I love finding money. Floor money is my hashtag. I love finding change wherever it is. Penny, I'll pick up a penny out of a toilet almost. I haven't done that, but anyway,
God.
I was walking
Shook
from
his
here.
hand.
I was walking from here across the street to drop a letter at the post office, and on my way, I looked down. There's a shiny quarter there. I was like, "Oh, hot diggity, man, friggin' quarter!" So I got really excited to text my buddy, who I always tell when I pick up money, and I didn't do it yet. I dropped my letter off. I'm headed back here. I get to the road. I see another quarter in the middle of the road. Like, So I go pick it up, and then that one leads me to another, which led me to another, which led me to $6.25 in quarters that I picked up off the square road out here.
Just one walk to a mailbox?
Yeah.
We're hanging on.
It blew my mind.
A little longer.
Okay, guys.
So it wasn't paper money, but it was $6.25, and I call that a win.
So are some of our friends keeping Matthew entertained while he's at work down here, guys?
Right. Well,
it's the
that's what somebody said. I would have thought somebody's like trying to shoot me or like stalk me or something, like
snipers up there.
I told him
get him with this.
That's why I won't last long in an apocalypse.
That was my gift to you. I set that up. I was being intentional about giving you some.
Yeah.
That's just Mission 3105 back.
But I did look like a crazy person for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're
walking around the square.
What are you like a grown-up Easter egg?
Looking on the ground.
Yeah.
Favorite phone app? Did we talk about that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think my favorite.
What do you use the most?
Text.
Yeah, text messaging.
Texting.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I use Pinterest a
Shazam.
lot.
I was going to say Pinterest might be my next go-to.
Shazam?
I do.
I don't know Shazam.
Oh, I thought you said Shazam.
No, James did.
I did.
Yeah.
So just the first app I ever downloaded when I got an iPhone, like in 2007 or whatever.
I think the
And,
first. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's what I still use it like consistently.
Yep.
You know.
You're gonna have to,
Agreed.
You're going to have to tell Sabrina what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard
Shazam's
of it.
great.
Yeah, you just hold the you open Shazam and hold it up if there's a song playing that you don't know or thought of in a long time. It'll tell you what it is and who sings it.
It's one of those apps. Like a lot of there used to be an app called Knocking, which is basically FaceTime. But Knocking did FaceTime before, and a lot of those old apps got phased out because iPhone was like, well, I'll just put a calculator on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
So like Shazam never got phased out. It's still relevant.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me and
I
Adam
think
use it.
It's a way to use like a Shazam-like feature, but it's still a better app.
Yeah, and then it
It's
links you to buy the songs too, which is
Oh.
perfect.
I guess
And
I
gives
need
you
to-
lyrics.
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
I need
that's a good one
That's
too.
cool.
Update.
Okay. I guess I
The
need
The
to
first
add
app
that.
I ever got was Carling the Beer. It was
Yeah.
this is 2008. It was a carling app, and all it did was filled your phone up with a beer. Like made it look like your phone was a beer, and then you could make it look like you were drinking it.
I remember
It was
that.
because the iPhone was big. I mean, it was
Yeah.
groundbreaking, and that was one of those weird things you could do with it.
That's
Or like the sound grenade.
The sound grenade. I think I still have that one. Do y'all have that?
No, Garrett, is that the one that had the fart sounds? Because Garrett had that one with the different names, the different fart sounds. It was
No.
like the Ripper.
I've got the fart
the
app. Don't get me
silent
wrong.
but deadly.
Yeah.
I call that. He would constantly do that
Second
crap.
smoking app.
Yeah, that was number 2.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Number 2, man, that was perfectly written. The sound grenade is a high-pitched noise that'll go off. You just set it to go off on your phone, and only young people can hear it. James, we're probably too old to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
I seriously think I am because I hear that high-pitched noise all the time now. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's enough phone app talk, I guess. That was 2 questions, right? Last thing you bought on
Yep.
Amazon.
Well, I am a decorator, so I shop for clients. So the last thing I bought was for a client. It was, I don't know, was it a cowhide rug or a fake plant? I can't remember, but it was something like
Okay.
not cool, but I mean, cool for them.
That's
but yeah.
perfect answer.
Let's see here. I'm actually having to look because it's been a minute.
I'm right there with you.
Oh, so April 14th, I bought. I'm an idiot. I bought a shirt. I bought a shirt that shows a guy punching, and every time he throws a punch, it says "per my last email."
That's good.
Yeah. So that's the last thing I bought, and that was on April 14th.
I was going to say the last thing I bought was on February 14th, and it was a rug.
A rug.
A rug for my bed.
I don't Amazon much, and I bought a Blackstone a couple years ago, or last year, I think.
On Amazon?
Yeah.
That's where you bought that
Well,
from?
I've got an Amazon Associates account where you can get paid on stuff that people buy, so I created a link for myself to buy a Blackstone, and then I bought it, and I think I got paid on the back end for promoting it to myself.
Like 9 cents or something.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
I got like 9 cents in my account for an approved
You got
buy.
more floor money the other day than you got.
I know, dude. I figure on yearly I pick up about $750 just
Hey,
in randoms, but that was $650 or $625
Oh,
that
so
day.
you're already ahead.
Yeah.
I average out. I mean, I think I get, just by my estimation, $750 a year by just
Nice.
picking up money.
you see the text I just sent you? It's got a picture of my shirt. I'm very proud of it.
Take a look at it. The next question is, and I'm taking a look at it right now. The next question is, when was the last time you were on stage?
Oh crap. Probably recent. Oh, that's funny. That's cute. I like your shirt.
My life.
I don't
good.
know. When was the
Yeah,
last time?
I don't know when that would be.
I think
What
it
was
might have
the
been the
question?
Tunnel to Towers race in Fort Worth. Did I go up there? No, I didn't go up there. I don't remember. Shoot, last time you were on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, when I came into town last time to see the family, I went to church and they asked me to get up and speak about the border mission down here. So I guess that counts.
That totally counts.
It's the pulpit.
We'll
Yeah,
call it a
there you go.
stage.
I didn't say the pulpit, James. No, that works. I like it. I don't even know. I know I was on stage at the picnic last year.
Oh, there you go. Are you going to be on stage this year?
Yeah. We're doing a car show, Jeep show, vehicle show,
Nice.
auto show. So, yep. Last question. What are some nicknames people have given you,
Really?
if any?
I could come up with a whole bunch.
I'm glad
for
you think
Jeannie
it's
over
funny,
here.
James. Ha ha ha.
I didn't
You
know there was
guys
a
start
backstory.
first.
No, I'm just thinking it's just funny.
Well, really, because my nickname that you gave me, that
Weenie?
yeah, Weenie.
Oh, I didn't call
Weenie?
you Jeannie Weenie. I
Yeah.
meant to on the intro.
Yep.
I forgot.
I've called her Squeaky.
Yeah,
for
Sabrina's
years.
called me Squeaky.
Lance would call you the Ween.
The wing. Yeah.
Bad Chad calls you Mean Jean.
Yeah, Bad Chad,
Mean
Garrett's
Jean.
best friend. He calls me Mean Jean. Now his kids call me
Yeah.
Mean Jean.
Jean, really, it does. It works. It works good.
Jeannie's the creator, and this is a good nickname story of you probably know. You might tell me if you don't. I'd be surprised. A Duty Pooty.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But I want to know now.
Our Garrett knows what Duty Pooty is.
Dr. Pepper.
Oh, God.
We even call Diet Cokes Duty Cooties. But I say Duty Pooty a lot, and like I worked at a bar for a long time, and people thought it was crazy.
It's so funny.
Duty Pooty.
Duty Pooty.
So, it's fun. It's fun to say too. Duty Pooty. Anyhow, that was 5 questions. Once again, mission 3105. Every day in May, do a good deed, put some positivity out there, do something nice for somebody, say something nice.
Yeah.
And let us know about it.
Yes.
Yeah, go like the page.
Tag the Facebook page.
Yeah, go like
hit
the
that little @
page.
sign.
Yep.
Yep.
Tag.
Mission 3105. Do a hashtag as well. You could
Hashtag.
probably see it that way, filter
Yeah.
them out, because you can go on there and look up the
That's
hashtag
search.
and find them that way.
And if anybody has any issues, like they can send it and like write something, send it in Messenger, get it to me.
I was going to say, I've got a Jeep page, and I always like it when people message me things specifically, like
And then-
they like the product, or, hey, I did this for so-and-so, here's my story in detail, and then you can share it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
You
do.
can-
I get
Yeah.
a lot of those, and I enjoy
yeah,
it.
Cool.
we can get them.
You can
Get them
curate.
out there.
Yeah, dude. James, I'll give you the last word there.
Ah, man, I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Sabrina, Jeannie, it was nice seeing you again. Sabrina, I would like to meet you face to face one time. But I appreciate you doing what you're doing. I think it's a much needed thing. And people talk about kindness a lot, but we don't really do it intentionally. And I think what you're doing is great.
Thank you.
Cool deal. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming in.
for having
Best of
us.
luck with with your organization, and we hope everybody gets out there and shares it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool. Thank y'all.
Bye, James.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Take her easy, J-Mo.